हर व्यापार को दे पहचान, व्यापार जगत।
The topic for today is sustainability begins at home. So for that, we are going to hear from Mr. R Dasgupta. He is here with us in studio. Welcome, sir. Mr. R Dasgupta is an industry strategist and advisor. Mr. RR's role is to be an activator, connector, and a trusted advisor to CXOs. He collaborates with company business executives and credible partners to articulate and execute best in class solutions for his customers and their customers. Mr. RR's experience span is 3 decades with leading companies like IBM and Microsoft. He is currently the founder and managing partner at Alliance Sustainability LLP. The purpose of the company is to partner with enterprises, communities, and institutions to help them achieve sustainable outcomes. So glad to have you here, sir. Welcome and over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Parmar, for reaching out and involving me in this session. So basically, I am, before I start sharing my slides, I've spent almost 3 decades in the IT industry. Last of the 10 years with Microsoft, where I worked very closely with agriculture companies specifically. And in doing so, I've gone to the field, actually. It's not something we discovered out of PowerPoint sitting in our offices, but actually went to the field and saw the state of affairs. So my inspiration comes from there. And today, as an entrepreneur, second time an entrepreneur, actually, I wish to work with companies to achieve sustainable outcomes. So my session, and by the way, I'm also a student of sustainability sciences. I'm pursuing a master's degree. So my observations and whatever I have to say today is basically around my experiences and my insights. And really speaking, I thought this topic would be of interest, and more so, it inspires me to think that, first of all, sustainability must start from our homes. So sustainability begins at home, right? I mean, in the sense that, as all the speakers and jury members will be saying and have already said, that a lot of rhetoric and debate has taken place. In fact, sustainability is not new. It actually goes back almost 50 years. If you remember the Stockholm Conference in 1972, and it's 50 years since then, and collectively after that, there have been Davos and other meets, etc. And a lot of people have, a lot of the leaders have actually promised a lot of commitments. But what we see technically is that, in relationship with the population growth that we have, in relationship of all the growth factors, be it infrastructure, be it cities, be it, and I'll talk more from the city angle because I live in a city called Pune, and I've seen what kind of progress or regress has taken place here. So basically, if I look at, so where are we today? I mean, this is, of course, some of these facts have been, actually, I subscribe to a publication by the Center for Sustainable Environment. And I would encourage everyone to actually subscribe to this, because they actually, every year, they come out with a down-to-earth annual, which actually, kind of maps the progress or regress. So I'll talk about a few here. I mean, if you look at just biodiversity, right? The forest cover in 244 out of 638, districts, okay? The entire forest cover might become a climate hotspot. It has actually shrunk. So I have seen that as an evidence here in Pune. When I came here, way back in 2001 to we are standing at 2022 right now. I saw the gradual deforestation happening, and there was not enough effort for afforestation. Uh, Close home in Mumbai, we know that there is this RA Mill colony, which is the only green lung the city really has. And I have lived in that and worked in the city for a very, very long time. So I know that, that was the green lung. Now you are cutting trees out there and you're building sheds for your railways. There is always pros and cons of progress, right? So when we talk about green infrastructure or we talk about, building infrastructure, we must realize that we are going to make do with less of the forest cover or the green cover that we have. The state of land, if you see, almost 30% of the geographical area is under degradation right now, right? And at least, and you look at the farmers' debt and farmers' situation, of course, a lot of things are being done right now. And I would just like to say that, uh, when people talk about organic food, right, I think it is still an utopia, because to do organic farming, you have to completely change the quality of the soil. So the soil has already degraded. So you cannot really grow organic food out there unless you do massive upheaval and change so the cost of input for that kind of agriculture is going to be very high, and therefore all the already diminishing returns the farmer really has is going to diminish even further. And I was just talking to one of my friends the other day, and he was saying that, what are your thoughts on organic? I said, look, I mean, all my years I have eaten food which is available in the market, right? So I never worried about how it was being grown. Of course, organic food is more healthy and all of that, but we never worried about that. And to suddenly say that entire, the agricultural land of India is going to be changed to organic is not feasible. There is going to be a gradual process, and probably we'll have to look at alternative land masses to really grow organic. Let's take state of food, right? I mean, if you say that more than 1.7 million Indians die due to diseases, due to unhealthy diet, right? Because the diet lacks in fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and whole grains. So this is and by the way, on the left-hand side, what I'm really showing you is that out of the 295 primary indicators, as a country, we are only measuring or monitoring 115. So in a sense, the country is not monitoring progress of 61% of the indicators, and some of those are already represented there. Going on to my next, I would like to go a little bit into theory. This was a theory in the 1990s. A person named Manfred Max Neef actually talked about what causes human scale development, right? So on the top, you have the existential categories that we all need to, start being, start having, start doing something, and start interacting. And then there are needs. It's actually closely related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but it's far more comprehensive. Then on the left-hand side, you will have subsistence, protection, affection, understanding, participation, idleness, creation, identity, freedom. If you look at this matrix, and you can read this theory, you can search Google and you will find out that he really talks about how the states, the existential categories of humanity and their axiological categories of existence actually map together. So if you see, there's an overt thread being created out here that we need a living environment. we need friendships, family, we need food, we need to have privacy, intimacy, we need to connect with nature, all of that. And slowly I feel that with all the, unfortunately, with the digital age, what has happened is we are starting to lose our connection with the environment. Um, I was surprised to find that people, younger generation don't know so much about plants and how to take care of them and all of that. So going from here, I'll talk about urban agriculture a little bit. Actually, urban agriculture, I believe that has a huge potential in India. I'm not talking about the rural agriculture, but I'm talking about urban agriculture. Given the nature and the spread of terraces or rooftops that we have, and even some of the communities where we live in, we have garden areas, etc. There's enough and more potential, if not to grow food, to grow other kinds of plants and encourage, birds and animals uh, to be able to balance the soil degradation which is happening. And I would say that, if there was adequate forest cover, forest covers actually give us uh, a huge natural protection against pathogens in the air, right? So you talk about COVID, spread of COVID, or any other kind of pathogens in the air. Um, it's because they come in very fast because there is no green lung which is able to absorb that. Okay, so I think we have to get into a situation where we encourage and in our homes itself we encourage development of this green ecosystem. So I can't talk about much because I'm not a farmer, but I can say that how we have been putting theory into practice at home. Um, Primarily, uh, we are lucky to be living in an area which is defense land, and adjacent is the forest. So my morning alarm is usually the peacock, and you get lots of migratory birds. So we built a huge amounts of greenery inside our home itself. In fact, some people who have come to my house often say that you have created almost a phantom's cave. So right from the entrance, right to the back terrace or the front terrace, we have plants. Um, Consumption of food, right? I don't prefer eating outside. There is food at home. Usage of water, if you look at usage of water today, okay, so I realize that using a shower for our bathing purposes actually wastes a lot of water. So again, reverted back to the bucket of water which we were used to when we were young. Uh, of course, no single-use plastic bags. This has been for a long, long time. Um, Air conditioning, if I talk about, we really don't need much of air conditioning in our house, although we have air conditioners in every room. That's because of the green cover which we have created, which gives us a natural insulation. As also, it also has a lot of plants that we grow, which are oxygenating plants, like, for example, peace lily or the snake plant, etc. They're very good for the environment. And even the toxic fumes which are created due to cooking, etc., can be absorbed. And of course, the outside air. And air quality, as I can tell you, that in every city it is going down because of the population, because of the construction, all of that. Mobility choices. I'm very true. So I was probably the only automotive consultant in Microsoft who didn't know how to drive a car. So and therefore, I have not had a car for many years right now. My mobility choices are very, very limited to the usual auto rickshaws and the Uber, Ola that we have. So I'm very glad doing that. I have no intention of owning a car, and that's a very personal choice. And I'm not saying that everybody should not own a car. But I think if our public transportation infrastructure, could improve, probably people would drive their cars less. Energy consumption, again, being conscious that you don't need to consume, and you also need to, and most of my work is done on a PC, so I'm on a laptop, so I'm aware that it also consumes power, right? So when do you charge it less and completely decharge the laptop and recharge it again? Okay, using reusing and refactoring of electronics. I think this we should be very, very cognizant about, because any electronic, whether it's a laptop or a mobile phone that we discard, often land up in landfills and contaminates because they have metals inside. So instead of doing that, if you could reuse or refactor it. So I know I have given away a lot of my earlier laptops to actually causes which actually benefit some other students of the challenge background. So here's I kind of end my presentation by showing you a picture of some of the pictures taken from our terrace garden. So as you can see that, and this is a home for a lot of migratory birds actually inside our home. So you'll have bulbuls and you'll have finches coming and nesting, and we allow them to nest. And because if you see on the background, that's the forest I'm talking about, and it's a forest land which is untouched by defense. It is still there. One of the few green spots actually we have here in this part of the city. So I'll come to the end of my presentation by saying that, look, I mean, and this is the old Chinese proverb, but I think the origin is Confucius. You hear so many things in the media, right? And you tend to forget. And first of all, I don't watch too much of TV. That's another way of, maintaining my own peace. And my news items are through snippets of apps. And I don't like watching TV shows. If you see something, you will remember. But it's only by doing something that you really understand. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I think it was very, the very powerful session, and you have shared so many insights, and especially, I like the most, which is, the slide wherein you said, putting theory to practical at home, कि जहाँ पे टेरेस गार्डन जो है उसमें नेचर को कैसे हम कोलोकेट कर सकते हैं, एंड जो भी फूड होता है, राइट, सो हम घर पे बनाते हैं और लाते हैं, तो उसको जो है वो वेस्ट और दूसरी अलग अलग चीज़ें जो है उसमें कंपोस्टिंग या काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें जो है वो लोग अपने घर पे स्टार्ट करें. Yes.
And actually, I tell you, the food habit actually changed because of COVID.
Yes, absolutely, right? Absolutely.
So जब COVID शुरू हुआ, सब घर पे खाते हैं. So and that habit has actually triggered off. And not that I preferred, even when I used to do weekend husband, I used to be a weekend husband. I used to take food from cooked food from Pune back to my flat in Mumbai, and I would microwave it and have it because I didn't like outside food. But I think so I was saying there are always pros and cons. Every dark event does not need to be seen as a dark event. It teaches a lot of things. Okay, how to save, how to be economical, how to like nature and go back to nature. Yes, thank you very much.
It is a pleasure, sir, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your insight, and I think a lot of things to learn from this particular session. Or I request all the viewers, those who are watching this particular this particular session, जहाँ पे हम ये पूरा इवेंट जो है वो क्यों कर रहे हैं, है ना. सो वी आर पुटिंग एन एफर्ट, जहाँ पे एटलीस्ट आप जो भी देख रहे हो ये पर्टिकुलर सेशन को, तो यू स्टार्ट बिकमिंग द इको माइंडेड. और जब हम इको माइंडेड एंटरप्रेन्योर या इको माइंडेड एज ए इंडिविजुअल की बात करते हैं, तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ जो है वो जब हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करते हैं तो वो हमारे घर से स्टार्ट होती है। हमारा जो मॉर्निंग रूटीन स्टार्ट होता है वहाँ से स्टार्ट होती है। और जैसे दास गुप्ता जी ने बताया कि ये सारी चीज़ें कि हम कितना एयर कंडीशनर यूज़ करते हैं, हम कितना एनर्जी कंजम्पशन करते हैं, हम जब कोई भी चीज़ बाज़ार में लेने जाते हैं तो उसमें सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक बैग्स कितनी यूज़ करते हैं। और जब आप कोई भी चीज़ परचेज करते हो तो उसको परचेज किया, उसके बाद में उसको एज अ वेस्ट में डाल दिया, उसकी जगह पे थोड़ा सा ये सोचे कि उसको हम रीयूज कर सकते हैं क्या, उसको अगर थोड़ा वो टूटा फूटा है तो उसको रिपेयर करके उसको कर सकते हैं क्या। क्योंकि अब हर कोई बंदा ऐसा सोचेगा कि मेरे पास पैसा है, आई कैन अफोर्ड इट, एंड मैं हर बार जब भी ज़रूरत पड़ी नई चीज़ें जो है वो मैं परचेज करके लेता हूँगा। तो ये जो वेस्ट जो हो रहा है, जो हमारा प्लानेट है, जो हमारा अर्थ है कि जहाँ पे हम जीते हैं, राइट, ये अर्थ को ग्रीन रखने के लिए, इसको ब्यूटीफुल रखने के लिए हमें इको माइंडेड बनना पड़ेगा। एंड दासगुप्ता जी ने बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो है वो एक ही सेशन में बता दी। थैंक यू सो मच सर
एक
फॉर, यस प्लीज।
one more thing I am working on this year. My target is to completely minimize my wardrobe. You know, ekdam. मेरे को इतना you got so much of clothes. Maybe it will be used by someone else, and I really want to reduce it to what I really need: formal and informal. That's it. I think there's a lot of talk on. I'm sure in Gujarat also you will have organic fabrics now coming up, especially bamboo se jo banti hai, shirts and trousers and everything. So I think those are the things you should look out. If you must buy, you know. So the other day the talk was on buying diamonds. Surat ka diamonds hote hai, right? So I said, how do you know that it is not a blood diamond? So you go to Tiffany's, you buy diamond. You know what is blood diamond, right? So blood diamonds are cultured in Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast. Or wearing leather, you know what is happening to cruelty to animals, right? So these are consciousness we all need to have. That's it. Practice what you preach. So that's my. Thank you so much, sir.
So
Absolutely sir, absolutely.
we have
Yes
a
Kavita,
question
please.
that
Yeah.
does your organization or you have a sustainability program or you take some seminars on it or not?
Okay, so basically, I do two types of consulting. One is technology, the other is strategy. But all throughout that, you know, the thread will be sustainability because हमने जो देखते हैं ना, 4 पेड़ लगा दिया तो पिक्चर लेके मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर छापते हैं. So I said, ये 4 पेड़ों से क्या होने वाला है? आपको फॉरेस्ट ग्रो करना है, right? You have to grow forest. You cannot just plant 4 trees and say I did sustainable stuff. So I'm saying that, you know, walking the talk is also about scale. Yes, we do consult and I do conduct workshops. Thank you so much for that question.